Oh, what's good, G Life? This right here is beautiful Killer California. You already know California is home to beautiful weather, sandy beaches, all that good stuff, but it is also gang banging capital. Home to hundreds of different gangs, thousands of documented gang members. It gets treacherous in Killer Cali, you know what I mean? If you don't know your surrounding areas or you don't know where you at, it could get deadly. It's better to be aware. Now, with so many different individuals and gangs around, obviously you're gonna get neighborhoods that get confused for each other. Um, initials and abbreviations, overlapping names, overlapping stuff like that. So that's what we'll be covering today. Varrios that get confused for each other. So with no further ado, let's get into it. I keep it G like a G is supposed to. I'm from the old school, no one comes close to. Post it up and I do what I want to. Post it up and I do what I want to. I keep it G like a G is supposed to. I'm from the old school, no one comes close to. Post it up and I do what I want to. Post it up and I do what I want to. I keep it true and I mean every last word. I was fooled by the truth, real gangsters. White tee creased up with a strap too. I'm from the bottom where we earn all our tattoos. Boy, it's taboo when you living just like I do. Air is up and you know we keep it all blue. I keep it loony and I don't mean like cartoons. They talk brave till they hear that click, clack, boom. It is what it is, we do what the G's do. Celebrate so we hot box the whole room.
You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment.
Now, starting off, we shall be starting off, obviously, in my hometown, my home area, the San Fernando Valley, the 818. San Fernando Valley, 818, obviously in LA County. For those who always try to say that it's not the same as LA, like LAPD is the one that patrols our streets. How is it not the same, bro? It's LA County. But it's here where it gets on and cracking. You know what I mean? With dozens and dozens of different barrios throughout this whole entire area. It gets chaotic. Now, to find the first set, we shall actually have to make our way to the area that is known as Van Nuys. Anyone that's familiar with the San Fernando Valley, automatically off the bat, they know that Van Nuys is an area that cracks. It's an area that is gang infested, ghetto. It goes down in Van Nuys. It ain't no joke. You know what I mean? And you have old varrios that have been in this area already for a long, long time. And you have, dozens of, different varrios within this area, from the Haskells to the Logans to the Vanoans to the Wicked Players, to the Crooks to Tokers. Man, you got all kinds of different varrios within this area, bro. You know what I mean? And one of these barrios is known as the barrio VST. VST translating to barrio Valerio Street. Valerio Street is a well-known barrio within the city of Van Nuys. You know what I mean? I was hearing individuals try to say that, no, it started in Panorama and all this and that. No. It's from Van Nuys. Obviously, people think that because at one point, I don't know about now, but at one point they did have a good relationship with Life Street. I know that, they would hang out and stuff like that. They were never clicked up or nothing like that. They were just, compadres. You know what I mean? They knew each other. So I think that's where that, where people were getting that idea from, because I was even hearing people try to say that, they were a clique from Blythe that broke off. And I don't know where people be getting all these stories from and where they be whipping them out from. But no, it is his own neighborhood that was, started right here in Van Nuys, roughly around the 80s that it started. Now, it is not a large neighborhood, but nonetheless, a neighborhood that handles business. Pocos pero locos. But they are a few hundred members to them. You know what I mean? And this neighborhood obviously became very infamous, obviously on the news, through documentaries and everything like that. If anybody has watched the Asian Boys documentary or the Gangland version of it or whatever, they briefly mentioned this neighborhood because it was the barrio which was feuding with the Asian Boys right there in the San Fernando Valley in Van Nuys, because obviously they shared, the neighborhood and there was war and it was on and cracking, bro. There was like heavy animosity, bloodshed, all kinds of crazy shit was going down. You know what I mean? So that's probably where people, recognize it from. Now, The Valerio Street's territory is everything that extends from Satakoy to Sepulveda to Sherman Way to Kester. Now, everything in the middle is considered their barrio. You know what I mean? Through Noble and Valerio, Renamede, Cohasset, um, Burnett, Leadwell Street, all of that is what's considered the Valerio Street neighborhood. But obviously, their main domain, their dojo, is on Valerio. That is the heart of the hood. What their neighborhood is named after, you already know. And like I said, this barrio is still around and still active. I was hearing people try to say that, nah. Like I said, people talking without knowing, they hating. Because, as a matter of fact, there was a very, infamous crew that was around in the San Fernando Valley known as MH. MH used to stand for Most Hated. It was a crew that, had down as members. You would see them up. They were doing their thing, you know what I mean? And they ended up, getting into Valerio, becoming a clique off of Valerio. So, Valerio Street Most Hated. So for those who are wondering what happened to MH or anything like that, well, yeah, they're a part of Valerio. And like I said, homies are still active, still doing their thing, and still representing right there for the VSC Valerio Street. Now, to find the next set in which Valerio gets confused for, or vice versa, we actually still have to maintain here in the San Fernando Valley, in the 818. So we ain't going nowheres, bro, nowheres, except further up, to the area that is known as Pacoima. Obviously, Pacoima is a very infamous area, very recognizable area within the San Fernando Valley. I know a lot of people have heard of it, and it is gang capital. One of the most deadliest and ghetto-less area in the San Fernando Valley, bro. It definitely cracks right here. Don't get it twisted. And you have so many different gangs within this area, from the Humphreys and Criminals and Projects and Paxtons and Cayugas and Latentines and all kinds of different varrios, bro. It ain't even funny. But within this mix and this bunch, you do have a VST neighborhood right here. Yes, the same as the other VST, VST, except this one standing for Vaughn Street. So that's the Pacoima Vaughn Street. So, it's not the same as Valerio Street. I hear people, confuse them. I always say, one for the other, but no, they're not the same hood. Different hoods, different areas. Even though Van Nuys is close to Pacoima, but nonetheless, different barrios. The Pacoima Vaughn Street started a little bit before the Valerios. You know what I mean? They're a little bit more older than Valerio Street. Obviously because, the sets in Pacoima, do have a long history already right here in the San Fernando Valley. Now, this one is one of Pacoima's more smaller cliques. That's why, people, don't really hear about it as much, but don't get it twisted. They have the writers that hold it down. They be doing their thing, homie. You know what I mean? Don't ever get it twisted. And they're still, active and functioning within this area. So don't ever get it twisted. Now, the Vaughn Streeters neighborhood is everything that essentially is what's Glen Oaks. And Glen Oaks, their territory extends all the way to where the wash is at, the Pacoima Wash right there. And from the wash all the way to Bradley. And Bradley, their territory still extends all the way to where the freeway's at. You know what I mean? Obviously, in those like dead ends and stuff like that is where you're able to find this barrio. Now, their barrio is everything that consists from like Herrick and Del Sur Street. Is everything that's from DeGarmo Avenue, from Corcoran Street to Arroyo Avenue to Brunel Street to Woodcock to Norris to all of that is what's considered their barrio. You know what I mean? But obviously, the heart of their hood, their main domain, dojo, and all that is obviously on Vaughn Street. What they're named after. So that would be like Vaughn's and like Norris and Vaughn's and it'll be Vaughn's and Herrick. That area is what's considered, their main domain, their dojo. And like I said, this barrio is a few hundred members to them. But like I said, roughly one of the more smaller, cliques, because these cliques do get, awfully large, but it's one of the more smaller Pacoima ones, you know what I mean? Because the other ones are a lot more larger, due to the fact that they're older and stuff like that, and their territories are more larger. But don't ever count these guys out. You know what I mean? They still be right there handling business and still be representing for their VST, the Vaughn Streets. All right, and to find the next batch of neighborhoods that get confused for each other, this one's going to be a little bit different because we're talking about 4 different neighborhoods that get confused for each other. Due to the fact that they all have the same abbreviation. But they're all different gangs. So it's about four neighborhoods, with the same abbreviation. We'll be starting off with the oldest one, the largest one out of the bunch. The oldest and the largest. And for this one, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to the area of the SGV. The SGV being the San Gabriel Valley. Now, the San Gabriel Valley is home to a lot of, old and large neighborhoods, like in Monte Flores, other gangs like Baldwin Park and etc. And another, well-notorious area is Puente, Bridgetown. The area of Puente is home to, one of the SGV's most largest notorious neighborhoods, which is the Puente Gang. Now, the Puente Gang is old and large, with numbers in the thousands, because the gang is broke up into sub-gang cliques, right? So the cliques are large, that they're on their own sub-gangs that, control their own territory, right? They all have their own, area that they, patrol and do their things. Some get along, some don't get along. That's just how it is. And one of the oldest and largest and well-known sub-gang cliques is the PST. PST translating to the Barrio Puente Perf Street. Perf Street is already a well-known clica of Puente, one of the more recognizable ones. You do have some that stand out, like the Ballistas, Perth, and, the HSTs, and, certain other ones, the Blackwoods. The Perth is one of the largest, and old school and well-known, respected clicas from Puente. Now, their territory and area consists of everything that's from Perth, and it would be Perth and Hutchner? I think that's how you pronounce it. Hutchner, Ector, all of that area is what's considered the Perth Streets domain, their dojo. That's where they get it on and cracking, and like I said, they already been right here, one of the oldest ones, and still continue to represent and put theirs on the map for that PST. Now, another one of these clicas that gets confused for, the other ones. For this one, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to the OC, Orange County. You already know the OC is definitely an area that cracks. And no, not like another episodes where we're always in Santa Ana. For this one, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to, close to Santa Ana actually, but to our way to the area of Anaheim. Anaheim is where we're able to find the next, set right here. Anaheim / Stanton area, borderline, some people, consider Stanton, some people will consider Anaheim. But it is home to the PSTs. PSTs, or you can see it up as PSG, which is known as the Pacific Street. Pacific Street Gang, or Pacific Street, 1-3. All of these, like I said, neighborhoods have multiple ways of writing it, their barrio, that's just how it is, so, it could be in Spanish where they put the C and then the X and the P, or they put the PSCs, or, like I said, just neighborhoods have different ways of writing their barrio. That's just how it is. So it's not like it's different neighborhoods and stuff like that. It's just that a barrio always has multiple ways of how they write their barrio. That's just how it is. Every gang, shares that in common. And for this one, it is the Pacific Street. The Pacific Street is already a barrio that has been well established right here in this area since the later 80s, early 90s, when this neighborhood was established right here on Pacific Street. It was never a large neighborhood, roughly a small neighborhood, but that is still up and active, because I hear individuals always try to say that this neighborhood died out, or it was never a real neighborhood. Like I said, haters are going to hate. They're always going to talk smack. That's just what they do, you know what I mean? But truth of the matter, you can hate it or love it, and it doesn't change the facts. It is a real barrio. It is established right here in Pacific. It may not be large, but still have real individuals that do their thing and continue to put theirs on the map for that Pacific Street. Now, as we make our way to the next location, we are still remaining here in the OC in Orange County. Now, this time, we shall be maneuvering our way to, not Santana. I know you guys are thinking I'm going to say Santana, but actually to the area that is known as the city of Orange. Yes, the city of Orange does have neighborhoods. It's always funny when I see individuals try to say that this area doesn't have any gangs, that is lovely, the university's right there, and whoop-de why. When in reality, they have no idea what they're talking about. Like I have always said, the area doesn't mean nothing. It can look lovely and all that, don't mean nothing, bro. You know what I mean? Gangs could exist anywhere, and they could be just as ruthless. Don't ever get it twisted. People have been watching too many movies. In the city of Orange, you have a lot of notorious neighborhoods that are well known. You have the Orange Varrio Cypress, you have the Modenas, you have the Eastside Rascals, Orange Crazy Malditos. You have the Orange County Criminals. You have a lot of notorious neighborhoods within these areas, the city of Orange. And one of them is a PST neighborhood, which is known as the Pearl Street. Pearl Street or Calle Pearl, locals. You could either see it a PST or, CPLS, Calle Pearl locals. One is in Spanish, one is in English, obviously. So, either one is appropriate. And you see it, they hit it up in both ways, tattoo it in both ways. So, PST, that's one thing they all have in common. They're all PST in their graffiti, their tattoos. That's why a lot of individuals be mistaking all these neighborhoods. But yes, the Pearl Streets is a neighborhood that is well known within the city of Orange, has been right here since the later 80s, early 90s when this neighborhood was established. This one being, a few hundred members to this neighborhood. And their territory is everything that consists of what's Spring Street, all the way to Esplanade is everything that's from Spring Street all the way to Esplanade, and from Esplanade their turf extends all the way to Chapman, and from Chapman their territory extends all the way to Hood Street. So everything in the middle is considered their barrio. So throughout Earlham Street, throughout Vine, throughout obviously Pearl, which is their main domain, their dojo, what they're named after, so that would be, Earlham and Pearl, is their domain, their dojo, where they get it on and cracking. And like I said, there are a few hundred members to them, a real neighborhood that, be right here representing, for theirs, going at it with the surrounding neighborhoods, because like I had mentioned, you do have several barrios within just this area that their neighborhoods overlap with each other, creating all this, tensions between these barrios. But yeah, that's what's up with the Pearl Streets right there handling theirs. Now, to find the next barrio on the list, we actually still have to remain here in Orange County. Like I said, a lot of these neighborhoods get confused for each other, and it's even more of a trip that they're all in the same area within, Orange County. But now making our way back to now the city of Anaheim. Like I said, Anaheim is just, just jam-packed with so many different barrios. And this one is probably the largest one when it comes to other PST neighborhoods in Orange County. This is probably the largest one within Orange County, probably the second largest out of the PSTs. I think probably the Puente one is more larger. This one with a few hundred members to them. A very active group. You definitely hear about these individuals. These guys definitely, be putting theirs on the map. These guys ain't no suckers, you know what I mean? Which is known as the Powerline Street. Powerline Street is a well-known neighborhood right here, the PSTs, right here in Anaheim. And their territory is everything that consists of La Palma Avenue. Their territory still extends to the opposite end of, like I said, it's large, to the opposite end of Lincoln Avenue, which is a large, gap in the middle, was from Lincoln all the way to La Palma, you know what I mean? And towards East Street and back around. So everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio. You know what I mean? Throughout that whole entire area was their territory, Like I said, they have the manpower to be patrolling and strolling and controlling right here, you know what I mean? Like I said, they're that large, and very, like I said, these guys have made headlines. They're very notorious, for doing real things, homie. People could hate and say what they want. Don't change the facts. Like I said, there's a lot of reports. You guys could look it up yourselves. I don't got a wolf make up anything. These guys definitely be putting theirs on the map, running mucks right here, for theirs. But that's what's up with this PST and Anaheim representing, out of that, Powerline Street, and still continue to put theirs on the map in the PSTs.